Hey, I'm back. Hey, I was brushing my teeth and I fell through the portal. You know how this goes. Look, I got a new one down the pike. I'm excited about this one. I really hope that you're enjoying the series because I'm enjoying making the series. I'm going to just go ahead and get this thing going because I'm so excited about this one here. Thinking cap, please. There it is, folks. This episode is brought to you by wordy.com. Reallyhood.com and the Really Hood podcast, as well as brokenheartshirts.com. Go check them all out. And here we go. Today, we'll be using wordy.com, and I'm going to create a word, and let's see what happens. All right. So here's the stock that I'm talking about, Imperial Petroleum. And this is when I didn't expect this one to come down, but I have high expectations. I will say that. Okay, if you're here real quick and you just want to, have my early opinions about it, here it is. If we look over here, we'll see there's a lot of meat. And being a wave investor, look at that wave right there. And now look where it is, right? So as I read this, it's telling me a lot, right? It's telling me that right now things are pretty calm. And I may have to take a look and find out what happened from this point. What is that? Maybe September 23rd until present day. I have to figure out what happened, why things start to go on this downward slope. But I will also say, when it has this much meat, this much water, this much wave, then there has to be potential for that to happen again. It just has to be. And I'll tell you why I say that, because if you look, it came down and pretty much leveled out. And it had a huge spike once again, almost reminiscent of some of this stuff over here. So it had that big spike and then it lost footing and it's down here. And guess what I think is going to happen? I think either this is going to happen. I think it will jump up to 29 cents, or it could jump up to 35 cents, or it may even jump up to about 39, 34. All right. So I think that undoubtedly there's money to be made here. Right now it's trading at 17 cents. And I believe that this stock is undervalued. Okay. Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast by going to anywhere that you listen to your podcast at and search for Becoming Ritchie Rich. That is my podcast version of this series. But that is my early preliminary thoughts. If you like that and you're good to go, I'll see you later. But we're going to deep dive into this stock and figure out exactly what's going on. And let's start right away. Okay, first off, market cap, 32.83 million. That's a good number. Revenue, 97 million. So this company certainly has some money. They're not by any means struggling, at least from my perspective. Okay, let's keep looking. Next, I would like to take a look at the volume. I believe this was Friday, 2.4 million transactions. That is a beautiful number. Again, more volume, the more potential to make money. And this stock certainly has the volume. It looks like after hours, it took a little dip. And I'm a big fan of jumping in when a stock is in the red versus being in the green. And even if it was in the green, it didn't go up by too much. All right. So let's take a look here. Imperial Petroleum Incorporated is a Greece-based company. That's pretty cool. So if I did get in this, I would have some skin in the game in Greece. Pretty interesting. International Shipping Transportation Company. The company specialized in the transportation of various petroleum, obviously, and products in liquefied form. As of March 15, 2022, the company's fleet consists of 4 vessels with a total of more than 250 DWT. All right, so so some cool things here. Is based in Greece, and let me see. I was trying to find. They don't list the number of employees, so that's a little weird, but no cause for pause. I like what I'm seeing so far. All right. If we look at the financial summary for the fourth quarter, the company reported sales was 37.91 million compared to 4.0. Is that what I think? Hold up. Net income was 13.76 compared to net loss of 1.48 million a year ago. Basic earnings per share from continuing operation was 0.07 compared to a basic loss per share for Kenya. Okay, I got it. Let me see. Let me read that slowly because I think I saw an increase. All right, for the fourth quarter, the company reported sales was 37.91 million. First off, to generate that much money in a single quarter is impressive in my book. I'm not sure how you see that, but for me, that's pretty impressive. Compared to 4 million a year ago. So let me digest this for a minute, because I'm trying to make sure my ears are hearing what my mouth is saying. For the fourth quarter alone, they brought in 37 million. And that is compared to 4 million the year prior in the same quarter. If I'm reading that wrong, let me know. Okay. But I feel like I'm reading that right, which means this year they saw exponential growth from quarter to quarter. And I'm talking about $33 million growth. Call me crazy. And I'm listening. Call me crazy, but that's pretty decent. Okay, call me crazy. Fine, I'll be crazy today. That just sounds decent. The return on investment is 11%. Now, if you've been watching these videos on my channel, then you know most penny stocks have a negative return on investment. This literally may be the first stock ever to have a positive return on investment. And I have to do something I've never done before, because that's something I've never seen before. I have to give this an A++ right now. Okay. Now I'm going to definitely temper my expectations, but I have to say I am loving, not liking, I'm loving what I'm seeing at this particular moment. Let me keep looking. I'm waiting for the punchline. The bad news is coming, right? PE ratio, my favorite number is 25. And the company has a 1.08 PE ratio, and the industry itself has a 86.58. Not really surprised by that. The petroleum industry is like oversaturated. So many companies in this this field or sector. So, you know, you really have to be pretty good to stand out. So not really a surprise there. Okay. And of course, no dividends. Now, if it gave dividends, I would have shut down the whole video and just, I'm going to get in. But of course not. It's a penny stock, right? Right. Now, if we go here, we'll see the revenue is 37.91 million. We saw that earlier. No forecast though, so that's a little interesting. All right. And next, we're going to look at the technical analysis, or see what the algorithms and computers think. And another very rare moment, we have a strong buy for a penny stock. I'm going to do something again that I've never done before. Man, this is getting real interesting. But you know, I've seen that before, but I don't see it often. Now, if we look at day trading, here's what I normally see: sell and strong sell, weekly trading, strong sell, monthly trading. So at least for hourly trading, if you trade on an hourly basis, there's a buy and a strong buy there. So on that basis, I do like what I see. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and check out the meat and potatoes. And let's look at the actual price points over history over the last 30 days or so. All right. First off, I'm going to go straight to the bottom, and the high was 0.2156. That is not a big high over the last 30 days. And you might argue that, or I might argue that that's a little concerning. Okay. I would expect a lot more, a much higher number than 0.21, because right now it's trading at 17 cents. That means that your earning potential for this stock, if you got in right now, it's not a huge earning potential there. Okay. And I think if you go back further and you look at more data, that number would go up exponentially. But I think as of right now, it is 0.21. You got to take it at face value. And the low is 15. So that's a good number, because we're getting in about 17, 18, 19. We know the bottom is 15. I can handle that if this stock were to bottom out. As far as an average, it's right now trading at its average, 0.1780. And what that tells me is you're not going to lose money if you get in at 17 cents or lower. I would argue that it may be very difficult to lose money if you get in at 17 cents or lower. And yes, I do believe that. All right, but I do want to do something only because I want to see if this high increases, and I believe that it will. And we're going to go back in history just a little further. Let's go back to maybe October, maybe too far. Let's go back to November, and let's see what happens then. And I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. This stock's high will increase exponentially. That's my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen. All right, it went from 21 to 48. Okay, so even 48 is a little low for me. So I don't know if this stock has the earning potential, or rather, this is a home run purchase for an investor. And as such, I'm going to remove 2 of those pluses, but it's still doing very well. There's still money to be made here. It's the point I'm trying to make. You're still going to make money if you invest here. Just not the big numbers I was expecting. And when I looked at the high for this company, based on all that meat and all that water I saw, I'm thinking more like 98 cents. You know, that's the number I was looking for. All right, now looking at stock splits. According to StockSplitHistory.com, this stock has had no stock splits. I love to see that zero. It's one of my favorite zeros to ever see in the world right here. That one right there. And then I'm going to double up and check out another site just to double check. And here we go. No stock splits. So that makes me happy. All right. And then next, I am going to go to Finviz, and I'm going to look at the news for this company and see how the market reacted to the news. Okay, so they declare dividend. What? Imperial Petroleum Inc declares dividend on Series A preferred shares. Now, are my eyes deceiving me? Are they saying that they're going to be offering dividends? I have to read that on my own time, okay? I don't want to waste your time with that one. Okay, announces termination of at-market equity offering program. So they probably was offering some kind of initiative and they're going to cancel it. A lot of times that happens when, you know, a company is just trying to build interest in their brand, and, you know, the market doesn't react to that program as they thought. So they just kind of cut ties with it to save resources and money. But they had a significant drop by 22%. On February 15th, and it was based off the reports of their fourth quarter earnings, okay? The net income of 13.8 and 29.5 respectively. All right, this is probably something we need to look at real quick. I didn't want to get too technical here and do stuff on camera that I would probably do on my own, but I'm going to assume that if you made it this far in the video, you probably do want to check this out. Okay, here it is. All right, a ship owner. All right, we know about what the company does. All right, fleet operational utilization of 79.4, mainly due to the dry docking of 2 vessels. 42% of our fleet days dedicated. I'm looking for numbers. Revenues of 37.9 million in Q4, up 33.9 million, or okay, is that what I think? All right, net income of 13.8 million compared to 1.5 million loss. That seems like a gain in my personal opinion, and if I'm reading that correctly. This kind of is written kind of weird if you can't tell. So it's not in very clear linear language. But yeah, I believe what this is saying, that the net income of 13.8 million in Q4 is much higher than what it was for Q4 for 2021, which was just a 1.5. And I think we saw something like that, if I'm not mistaken, right? Cash and time deposits of 118.9 million, 1.7 times higher than our current market cap. So I'm just trying to understand, maybe this right here will explain it. Revenues for the 3 months ended December 31st, 2022, amounted to 37.9 million, an increase of 33. Exactly. So what is the problem? If there was an increase, then why would the market react negatively? Perhaps the only thing I could possibly think of is, you know, once that news came out, the stock price had to soar and go off and go crazy. And this caused a lot of people to jump in, which raised the stock price, and a lot of people sold off. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. If I'm holding this stock or holding shares of this stock and then the stock price goes up, I'm going to sell because I want to make my money before this thing sinks. And it looks like that could have happened, but it's only one way to find out for sure. So this all took place on February 15th. And we go back to historical data, we can find February 15th. And here is that day right here, that fateful day. And it looks like this company, whoo, goodness gracious. So this is my point though. See, if you got in, or if you were holding shares of this company at 35 cents, right around when that news comes out, the next day, nothing really happens. But right when that news comes out, the stock plummets. So whoever had it at 35 cents, what was the high? They probably made a small amount of money on it. They probably sold it maybe 38 cents. And then it just bottomed out for some reason. I'm not sure if I can understand. This is a significant, look at this. Is this not one of the worst moments that you can ever experience as an investor? Look at this. You had 1 day of profits, or I should say a positive gain, and just consecutive days. Like this company was bleeding out, okay? And they haven't quite recovered from this moment. And this is another reason why I think personally that this company or this stock has potential. Let me tell you why. Because before whatever happened, before their fourth quarter earnings report came out, they were trading at 35 cents. And then for whatever reason, they had this cataclysmic, what was the word? Cataclysmic. Yeah, I tried to be smart and I couldn't get it. I'm sorry. They had this major, bleed out. And this is where we stand today. It's at 16. So it went from 35 cents to 16 cents, around that 16 cent mark. And cataclysmic. Somebody put it in the comment. How do you say this word? But they just had this gigantic, drop. And I think that this is a overreaction. You see what I'm saying? I think that what we're seeing here, this bleed out, is a overreaction. And I think a lot of investors are going to say, wait a minute, this stock, before this incredible bleed out, the stock was trading at about 26.35 cents, right? And you had this overreaction, and then now it's trading at 16 cents. Hey, that means that this stock is undervalued. That either one of two things is correct. Either the investors see something in the mix, in the water that they're running from that's legitimate, and we have to respect that. Or they just didn't want to lose a lot of money. Maybe they've already, you don't know what the factors are. But I'm going to go more towards the latter, all right? This kind of cataclysmic, I'm just going to run with it. This kind of it's colostomy bag. There's no way that this stock is a bad. I'm just not seeing it. But I will respect those investors who saw something and want to remove that plus altogether and then want to put a minus. Okay, because I'm saying that. I respect that. You got to respect what the market tells you. You can't be delusional. But at the same time, I'm looking at what the price is now, and I'm looking at where it used to be. And look at this. This is even more interesting. It was trading. We had another seismic loss or pattern or consecutive losses right here. And what was it trading at? 24 cents. And then it spikes up to 35 cents. Look, we're wave investors, right? So we just want to get a part. We want to be a part of the spike. We don't necessarily care what happens long term. So if I got in at 24 cents and then it spiked up to, as we can see, about 38 cents right here, I'm selling off at 38 cents. And what happens after that, if it drops down to 16 cents, I won't be around to care. So we're just trying to find those pockets. And I think that right now is one of those pockets. But anyway, I feel like I went a little longer than two for that particular segment, but I think you might appreciate it because I think we just discovered something. We have a decent possibility here. Certainly not a guarantee. Now, we're going to look at the short percentage float, and this is pretty significant. I won't say it's too concerning, but I will say it's higher than the stocks I've looked at recently. But 6% of people are expecting this stock to go bottoms up. And again, I think that's a pretty significant number. All right, here it is. Next, we're going to look at Cap Edge and try to figure out if there is any notice of delisting. Let me see here. Declares dividend. You know, I don't want to waste your time. I really don't. But let me just look at this real quick, y'all, because I keep saying something about dividends. All right, and I just want to see what's the talk about. Okay, announcing the declaration of a dividend on this 8.75% Series A. I think that's a different series, not this company in particular. I will do more research on that because I am very interested in any penny stock that can offer a dividend because that's so unheard of. But anyway, as I look, here it is. This has to be the one right here. This is the one right here. Yeah, this is the big news. This is the big news. All right, so they did apparently receive a notice from NASDAQ, and apparently, let's read this out. The press release issued by Imperial Petroleum Inc. on December 15th, announcing it has been granted a 180-day extension by NASDAQ to regain compliance. So if the notice went out in December, that means they have 180 days, which is roughly 6 months. So what is that? December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So they have to about June 22nd in order to get their affairs together. And I'm gonna tell you, I think that they will absolutely, maybe not get to $1, but I am going to make an early prediction that they will make it to about 40 cents comfortably. All right. So yeah, I'm going to take a risk with this. I'm going to go ahead and say definitively right now, I will be investing in this company. You know, the name of the game that we're playing, we're trying to find pockets, right? It's the sweet science. We're trying to find a stock that's undervalued that has one more push in it. And this company will more than likely do what it has to do in order to generate, you know, as much interest in their brand as possible between now and June 22nd. And those efforts will bring investors in. Let's take a look at some more resources. All right, so the rewards, price to earnings ratio, 1.1x is below the U.S. market. All right, became profitable this year. We saw that. And now I don't understand why the investors ran away from those profits, but maybe they know something I don't. And that is something that I will have to dive into a little deeper before I really finalize my decision to jump in here. All right, as far as risk, high level of non-cash earnings. Interesting. Very interesting. Shareholders have been substantially diluted in the past year. Volatile share price, we know that. We saw it all over the place. We saw it jump from 24 to 35. Now it's down to 16. Definitely. Does not have a meaningful market cap at 33 million. For their industry, this may be a correct assessment. But I still think that 33 million as a market cap is relatively decent. Okay? Now, I would like to next do something I don't typically do, and that is I want to check out their website. Okay, and just get a sense of how the company represents itself. And I will say it is pretty sleek and very clean looking. Everything seems to be running and working pretty well. I love their logo. I'm an artist, so I can certainly appreciate that. I love that they provide specifications for the investors. So a lot of things to like here. The website looks pretty solid. If I wanted to contact this company, what would they put me through? Okay, they have an address, no phone number. And I could probably understand why. Investor relations, so they do have information for their investors. So all in all, a good look. Next, we'll go ahead and jump over to StockTwits and see what current investors who are already invested in this company think. Okay, we'll kind of pick their brains and see how they feel. What are they saying? What are their sentiments? Let's see what happens. And by the way, don't forget, you can always follow me. I am the Ray Charles on StockTwits. Feel free to join me. All right, here it is. You don't think Harry will buy back shares for himself? Somebody thinks that there might be some insider trading. And Boss 7171 is really active. So that means there's some investment there in terms of energy and time. All right, we have until June 12th to regain $1. I like that he's pointing out something that we've already discovered on our own. This person is saying, so sad to this news. My brother Brainiac and I already talk about something else. When comparing the current price to the book value, it is valued rather cheaply. Exactly. I think so as well. I said that the stock is very undervalued, and I believe that there's a lot of money to make here. And somebody is saying $2. I think that's a well wish, because we went back to last year in November and we saw that it barely eclipsed 46 cents. So to have that pipe dream is a little overstated. We finished the week being up over 6%, so a lot of optimism here, okay? All right, some people love to complain. Other people know what's happening when it gets twitchy on low value, right? I do something management. Oh, they're talking about management. They want management to kind of get in and save the day. All right, but that's a hard ask, because management can only do so much without breaking the law. You know, you have to really, depend on the investors. And I guess in terms of management, the only thing they can do is just do their job more efficiently. That's all they can really do, right? But I'm going to say that after all that information, I don't think it's an A. I don't think so. There's a lot of information that we found that might be a little dicey. But I'm going to argue that this stock is a B. All right, and yeah, I am prepared to make that my final score or grade for the stock. And I'm going to place it in the finance section of Wordy Create. Yeah, I did not expect that. I did not expect that. This is one of the higher rated stocks that I've looked at. And here it is on the home page. Don't forget that you can create a Wordy account and do the exact same thing I did and post little messages on wordy.com. And I'm still waiting for the first person to sign up. So if that's you, sign up, let me know you did, and I'll shout you out. Now, there's only one thing I would like to do personally, and that is just kind of play around with some numbers. If you bought in right now with, what, 5,000 shares, and you bought in at 17 cents, and then the stock actually reached $1, okay. Is that, yeah, wait a minute, is that right? All right, 5,000 shares at 17 cents. That can't be right. Okay, I'm like, come on, like something's wrong. All right, so you'll pay $850, and you could make a profit of $4,000 if it actually reached $1. Let's have a little more fun. One investor on StockTwits said that they're hoping for $2. If that were to happen, you would have about $9 grand. And let's say you went absolutely bonkers and say, you know what, I also believe that this stock can do very well. And let's say it got up to about 48 cents, which is the high from November till now. You would probably you would have to pay about $1,700, obviously, because you're getting so many shares, and the profit would be about $3,000. I think that's a little significant For me, I would probably do something more like this with the expectation that it could probably reach about 48 cents. So this is about what I would expect. This is how I'm going to play this game here. $850 investment with the hopes of making at least $1,500. All right. All right, folks. Thank you for checking out Becoming Ritchie Rich. If you like this, if it was informative, you know what to do. Show your main man some love by liking the video, subscribing, all that cool stuff. And don't forget, you can listen to the Becoming Ritchie Rich podcast, available everywhere. And once again, I do appreciate your time. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.